Donald Trump's throwing around the D word again. He's slinging that word dictator like he's slinging hash at some diner. And here he is again today saying, I think people in America want a dictator. Everybody's saying freedom, freedom, freedom. Well, there's a lot to be said for being a dictator. I don't want to be a dictator. Are you kidding me? Everything that we have seen so far, it appears that Donald Trump is preparing for a coup to take over America by military force. He's taken the military and made it bend to his will. He's gotten rid of all people within the military. I'm talking about the generals who would oppose him, have only put in sycophants who will do exactly what he says without resistance and without any type of ability to disable his worst instincts. They are the worst kind of enablers because they're enabling his instincts to be a dictator and to lead a coup. How else to describe what we're watching in American cities, blue cities, where Donald Trump has militarized these cities? Is this dress rehearsal? Is this a practice? Is that why Pete Hegseth just issued his order to allow the National Guard to carry weapons of mass destruction, to carry weapons like they never have before? Look at all of the red states send in their National Guard. I call them the Red Army, to join with Donald Trump's army to occupy Democratic states and cities. How else can you call this but the makings of a coup? And then if I thought I was being delirious, and if people here thought I was being paranoid, then Donald Trump says out loud in the White House, behind the Resolute desk, that he doesn't believe that everyone in America believes in our democracy and believes that there shouldn't be a dictator. He's musing out loud about what percentage of America would support dictatorship. I'm Michael Popok. I don't support dictatorship. Neither do you. You're here on Legal AF. Let me play the clip of Donald Trump musing about dictatorship and remind you of an earlier thing he said while he was running for office and right before election. Let's run the clip.
You know, when I have some slob like Pritzker criticizing us before we even go there, I made the statement that next should be Chicago because, as you all know, Chicago is a killing field right now. And they don't acknowledge it. And they say, we don't need him. Freedom, freedom. He's a dictator. He's a dictator. A lot of people are saying maybe we like a dictator. I don't like a dictator. I'm not a dictator.
That was today. Was that made to make people feel more comfortable and relax that Donald Trump's not leading a military coup or a dress rehearsal for one? Did that make people feel more relaxed? You've got the split screen. You know, as Ukraine celebrated yesterday its Independence Day, along with European leaders. What was happening in America? In only blue states and cities? The militarization, the military occupation forces in the form of National Guard and Marines being used by Donald Trump against American citizens. Let's not normalize it. Let's call it what it is. Donald Trump is leading an occupation force reinforced by Red Army contributions from red states to occupy militarily domestic soil run by Democrats. That's it. And to call it anything else is to do a disservice to the American people. For mainstream media not to connect the dots that way and talk about what we are possibly watching is the reason we're in this mess to begin with. So we're here to connect the dots. We have Donald Trump issuing through his Department of Justice an edict, a warning to 34 states about their sanctuary city program, about not cooperating with the feds in their chasing other human beings through farms and factories and churches and schools as part of their depraved, undignified immigration policy. So she warned them, you better, it stops now. And the states were like, collective middle finger and sigh, eye roll, insert here. That's the resistance that we're watching. But should come as no surprise that the cities and the states that Donald Trump is going after and attacking are Democratic blue ones. Many of them, most of them, a lot of them led by black mayors. He's attacking the black mayor and power structure in America. 4 major cities in America are run by black mayors. And Donald Trump just happens coincidentally to be either occupying those cities like DC and LA. I mean, LA's got Bass and DC's got Mayor Bowser. Or he's threatening to do it like in Chicago, another black mayor. Or threatening to do it in New York, another black mayor. Yeah. And then add in there Philadelphia and then a whole host of other cities. So she makes that announcement. Hegseth, Department of Defense, right on cue, says they're going to weaponize more the military who are occupation forces in democratic cities and states. Then you've got, that's 2. Then you've got these phony news releases. 650 arrests in DC since Donald Trump went after cleanliness and crime. I seriously, I feel like I'm watching a Batman script for a movie that should never have been given a green light because it's so preposterous. Cleanliness and crime. And if you look at the 600 number statistics, it's almost identical to what Metropolitan Police Department, MPO, were doing before the takeover. So how else to explain than Donald Trump's practice when you've got a guy who says out loud, we did the clip of him saying out loud, not everybody hates dictatorship. I mean, the last time we had to do a poll on this, and the fact that I have to actually report on a poll being taken of American people about if they think Donald Trump's a dictator, 52% of America, this is in April, 52% of America thought Donald Trump's a dictator. I'm sure that number is going to go up. That's before the takeover in LA, before the takeover in DC, before what he's doing to Abrego Garcia and the rest. Let's just call it an even 55 to 60% at this point. But Donald Trump thinks that's fine. Remember what he said when he was running. Let's run the clip of, I'll be a dictator on day one.
We almost have to go to a break. I want to go back to this one issue, though, because the media has been focused on this and attacking you. Yeah. Under no circumstances, you are promising America tonight you would never abuse power as retribution against anybody.
Except for day one.
Except
Look,
for?
he's going crazy. Except for day one.
Meaning?
I want to close the border, and I want to drill.
That's
not
retribution.
I'm going to be, you know, he keeps, we love this guy. He says, you're not going to be a dictator, are you? I said, no, other than day one. We're closing the border, and we're drilling. After that, I'm not a dictator, okay?
That sounds to me like you're going back to the policies when you were president. All right,
exactly.
Take a break. Just getting started. We're in beautiful Davenport, Iowa. Donald Trump with us for the hour as Hannity continues. Thank you for being with us.
Now, you've got all of that, coupled with Donald Trump saying out loud that he may be able to stay for a 3rd term, despite what the Constitution says and the United States Supreme Court says about it. Because he had 2 non-consecutive terms. You only get 2 terms. They don't have to be consecutive. But Donald Trump mused out loud, remember, that maybe he'll stay. Let's play that clip.
President Trump says he likely will not run for a 3rd term. His response came in response to a question during an interview on CNBC's Squawk Box.
I get the highest vote in the history of Texas, a record that they say won't be beaten unless I run again.
Are you going to run again?
No, probably not.
Okay.
Probably not.
So let's piece it all together, shall we? This is what we do here on Legal AF. This is what I think one of my superpowers is putting it together. You've got today Donald Trump saying Dictatorship's not bad. Some people in America may support it. You've got him saying earlier, "I'll be a dictator." You've got the Pew charitable, the Pew polling that says people think he's a dictator. You've got the militarization of America and occupation forces in democratic cities and states, right? And you got Donald Trump saying he may not be leaving at the end of his term. What else to think? And what else does Donald Trump want us to think? This is the head fake part of it. But that he is a dictator, and that we will succumb and bend to his will. So the antidote for that is what we're doing here collectively together. It's the defiance in the courts. We just had a federal judge up in Massachusetts, make a ruling yesterday or the day before, in which he said that the blue cities and states that are being defunded because they're running sanctuary programs and not agreeing to cooperate with the feds, you can't cut off their HUD, housing and urban development grants, that go so that families won't be homeless because you don't like their immigration policy. It violates the 10th Amendment, the power reserved to the states in our system of federalism. It violates the 5th Amendment and due process rights, and it violates the Administrative Procedures Act. That's what judges are ruling, led by the attorneys general of the states and the city attorneys and municipal attorneys of the various cities that joined together in the suit and the order that just came out. So we're winning in the courts on the right issues. Of course, it's up on appeal. So you have that as a firewall. You have the resistance of our social media community, our community here on Legal AF, our community on what we're building on Legal AF Substack, talking through these issues, calling them out for what they are. We talk truth to power. We talk truth to each other first. Donald Trump uses power to bend and alter truth, rewrite history. That's what dictators do, right? Every aspect of Donald Trump, from the lining his pockets for his family and himself with billions of dollars of our money and investor money and committing fraud and running a cryptocurrency scam and a scam, while he's president of the United States, is right out of the playbook of dictators. They find a way to enrich themselves while they're in office, because they're in office, right? Obama left 8 years poorer than when he came in. Clinton did too. I mean, they went out and went on book tours and speeches at $1 million a pop, and they quickly made up the money, but they didn't walk out with money. Obama couldn't buy a house when he walked out on the pay they were paying, the $200,000 they pay presidents or whatever it is. But Donald Trump, so that's one hallmark or badge of being a dictator. How he uses and abuses the Department of Justice to go after his enemies, his political enemies, including or limited apparently to all the Democrats out there that are leaders, to try to damage the brand. That's a playbook from dictatorship. Go after the press, try to silence their work, their important work, to bring out into the light corruption. He attacks the press. He would jail the press if he could. Another badge of dictatorship. Bashing judges by name, their families by name, their children by name, their relatives by name, prosecutors the same, attorneys general the same, to try to destabilize them and therefore our country. Badge of dictatorship. Musing out loud that the to socialize it and soften up America for the concept of dictatorship, trying to normalize it, trying to groom America into accepting dictatorship like he just did today. A badge of dictatorship. Rewriting history. Taking out of the Smithsonian references to slavery. talking about that the Smithsonian Institute focuses too much on the Black suffering and slavery and not about what makes America. Now, he almost said white, but instead he said bright, which I don't even understand. But that's what he said, a badge of dictatorship, making them take down the impeachment or rewrite the impeachment history to remove him as a president, the only president to be impeached twice. Rewriting history is a badge of dictatorship. Militarizing and using the U.S. military in violation of the Posse Comitatus Act on U.S. soil and occupying democratic states and cities under phony claims of rebellion and insurrection and other emergencies is a badge of dictatorship. So when you put it all together, I guess you could explain all of these parts. It's like puzzle pieces. You throw all these puzzle pieces down on a table. I guess you could ignore that when you put them together, it's the Eiffel Tower. If you put them together backwards. Or you can say, the Eiffel Tower. Now, I'm not saying that I have the categorical, indisputable proof that Donald Trump is a dictator. But dictators think that Donald Trump is a dictator and compliment him all the time. Orban, Hungary. Bolsonaro, who was a dictator in Brazil and then thrown out, also thought. Putin, North Korea, they all think he's a dictator and they've let him into the club. He should be in the living United States president club. Instead, he's in the dictator club of his choosing. Yeah. So we'll continue to observe Donald Trump closely, including his mental derangement on full display. We've been doing a lot of hot takes on Midas Touch Network about his medical condition and his hands disintegrating and falling apart. I think you think that's what's going on there. What do you think's going on between the ears? Yeah. What do you think's going on there as he's aging in place? But that place is the White House. And we'll continue to follow all that right here. I'm glad you're here. Subscribe to Legal AF Substack. And if you can swing it, become a paid member, set reminders. We're doing all sorts of lives and new content there for our subscribers. Become a subscriber on Legal AF Substack. Till my next report, I'm Michael Popok. I'm Michael Popok, and I got some big news for our audience. Most of you know me as the co-founder of Midas Touch's Legal AF and the Legal AF YouTube channel, or as a 35-year national trial lawyer. Now, building on what we started together on Legal AF, I've launched a new law firm, the Popok Firm, dedicated to obtaining justice through compassionate and zealous legal representation. At the Popok Firm, we are focused on obtaining justice for those who have been injured or damaged by a life-altering event by securing the highest dollar recoveries. I've been tirelessly fighting for justice for the last 35 years, so my own law firm organically building on my Legal AF work just feels right. And I've handpicked a team of top-tier trial fighters and settlement experts throughout all 50 states known as big auto injury attorneys who have the know-how to beat heartless insurance companies, corporations, government entities, and their attorneys. Big Auto's attorneys working with my firm are rock stars in their respective states and collectively responsible for billions of dollars in recoveries. So if you or a loved one have been on the wrong side of a catastrophic auto, motor vehicle, rideshare, or truck accident, suffered a personal injury, or been the victim of medical malpractice, employment harassment or discrimination, or suffered a violation of your civil and constitutional rights, then contact the Popok Firm today at 1-877-POPOK-AF or by visiting my website at www.thepopokfirm.com and fill out a free case evaluation form. And if we determine that you have a case and you sign with us, we don't get paid unless you do. The Popok Firm, fighting for your justice every step of the way.